If I gave a fuck what y'all think I would be doing this? Welcome to the FMFU podcast, the podcast that's from me, for us. Vulgar but true, real and never fake. I'm your host, Reese, and I've got a lot of shit on my mind today, so let's get into it. Happy Friday, people, and welcome to episode Millie Bobby Brown. Stranger Things fans will get it. Before I begin, I just wanted to put a couple shout-outs out there. Yesterday was actually my main man, Turbo Trey, and actually my best friend Brittany's birthday. So shout out to y'all. Happy birthday. I know I talked to y'all and told y'all already, but hope y'all enjoying y'all best life. I know me and my nigga going out tonight, and we got a couple tables, gonna pop some bottles and have some fucking fun. I also have to say, before I begin, R.I.P to my man Jack Pearson. You were a great father. And it sucks you had to lose your life over going into a burning house to retrieve a dog because you were only trying to keep your daughter happy. Shit's just real sad, man. But, oh, man, I'm just so rattled. This Is Us just gets me. But anyway, week's been pretty crazy, man. The week started off with a bang, as anybody on the planet knows. The Super Bowl went down on Sunday. Now, I know if you've been listening to the podcast, or if you know me personally, or if you follow me on social media, everybody knows that I've been the one preaching all my shit. I've been talking since probably episode 1. You know, fuck the NFL. The NFL ain't for us. It's the NBA that's for us, aka National Black Association. Whatever, however you want to quote me. But since it was the Super Bowl, which is the biggest game of the year, and I also happen to reside in New England, I knew everybody in the office on Monday would be talking about the game. So to stay in the quote-unquote office loop, I told myself, I'll give myself a 1-game pass, and fuck it. I decided to tune into the game. My one drop in the bucket won't help any ratings that much, and technically, I only watched about half the game in my house, so if you want to be that petty, you can consider me a half-game hypocrite. But moving on, I will have to admit, the Super Bowl was one hell of a game. And even though I think the commercials were fucking terrible, and I also think the fucking halftime show sucked. Sorry, JT, you a great artist, but man, that performance was just, that shit was trash. Nice cement threes, though. Them bitches was fire, but despite the fact of all that, I am actually glad that I did tune in, as there was no blowouts and it actually came down to the wire, man. You know, one thing about sports we can always say is that, you know, it's sports are magnificent. I mean, it brings things out of people that other things really can't. I mean, it's crazy how some people react when it comes to their sports teams, whether it's a win or a loss, you know, tears shed either way. But diehard sports fans of their teams, some of them are so diehard that many other things can happen. Now, keep in mind, social media doesn't help the situation any better, but, you know, some diehard fans, man, they get in heated arguments, names get called, they might insult your fucking mother, and with the right amount of Henny, a fight might even break out. It's crazy what we do or how we act when it comes to cheering on for 11, 5, or 9 players that we've never even met or probably will never even meet.
It's the FMFU podcast, bitch.
I had picked the Patriots to win the Super Bowl, but the Eagles said nope, nope, nope. So it's a good thing I'm not a betting man, or them assholes would have lost me some fucking money. But I'm online and I seen so many, you know, one-day Eagle fans and so many people happy they lost. You know, the memes started flowing in like raindrops. Drop top. The funniest was when someone said Tom forgot to deflate the balls. But despite the fact or forgetting to deflate them bitches or not, Bill Belichick, the New England Patriots have been a legit dynasty for the past 17 years, having appeared in 8 Super Bowls and won 5 of them. Trust, they fans always like throwing that shit in your face when they lose. We still got 5 of them, my nigga. You know, just like that nigga who be getting flamed and get mad and be like, man, I beat everybody ass in here. Y'all niggas can't whoop me. But anyways, it's an accomplishment in that short of a span that's only been shortened by Alabama, who has won 5 college football chips in, I believe, 9 years. So when a team like that is that dominant, you know, especially for, you know, in that short of a time period, but at the same time, that long of a time period, depending on how you look at it. You know, that greatness fatigue, which was discussed in episode 7, it sets in quickly and people get to a point where they're just tired of seeing them compete for a chip and ultimately root against them because of that. On the contrary, you do have people who hop on the Brady bandwagon because he wins a lot, i.e. Golden State fans and the NBA. But it seems like online, when it comes to this team, it seems to be more hate than love. And with all these ideas being discussed, you know, by y'all memes and speaking your feelings out on social media, which I'm going to be real with y'all, social media pretty much helps fuel my podcast content. You might have got an idea on that, but just letting you in on a little FMFU secret. But with all that going on, I mean, it had me thinking, and I thought about it for a while and pondered, and I thought to myself, what are some legit reasons that people don't like the Patriots besides greatness fatigue? I think there are some things that are there subconsciously because most people, when you ask them, they're just like, I'm just tired of seeing them. Like I said, greatness fatigue. And, you know, I think it's other things besides that because then you got other people who'll be like, well, I just don't know. I don't fuck with them. And a couple of ideas I have, I think people kind of relate to. And these are in no particular order. And as always, these ideas are based on unbiased facts. Not my opinion, but based on what it is and how you probably look at it without even realize you're looking at it that way. Professor Reese is back in today. Put my cap on. And as always, I'm going to enlighten y'all with a new way of thinking. Class is in session. The first reason I have is the location of the team. Some people in America don't even know what New England is or where it came from, as it sounds like some old white people foreign area type shit. I didn't really know until maybe, I'll be 30 this year, maybe 10 years ago. Like, what the fuck that was? I had to like Google the shit. And if you don't know what it is, that also means that there's people that never been there before either. Let's be real. You don't just pass through Boston unless you're traveling to Maine or Vermont or going to Canada and Montreal or some shit, because Boston, where the city is located, it's in the corner of the country in the cut. Let me ask you though, how many black people you know from other places traveling to Maine though? Name one person you know that's from North Carolina and goes and visits Maine just for fun. Go ahead. I'll wait. Moving on. The perception from outsiders is that the New England area is all white and all racist. Although there have been some situations occur in the area, that's not the case at all, as there are plenty of people of color up here, and there's situations that happen everywhere, so you can't really assume that. But let's put a spin on this. Let's imagine if the Patriots were the Atlanta Patriots. I guarantee more black people would be rooting for the Patriots because they would be in one of the blackest cities in the country, the ATL. Atlanta Patriots doesn't even sound like a good football name, though. It has no ring, and honestly, it's downright terrible combined with Atlanta, which name, that actually brings me to my second point, which is the team name Patriots. I looked up the definition, and a patriot is defined as a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. Now I'll repeat that one more time just so you can hear me out and get what I'm saying. The definition of a patriot is a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. So let me ask you, my good old listener, what is the first image what is the first image you see in your mind when you hear that definition of a patriot? What word or words stand out to you? The word that stands out to me is detractors. Well, what's a detractor? Because I honestly didn't know this. A detractor is defined as a person who has little regard for someone or something. So let's break this down for you in case I broke everything else down a little too fast. Basically, you have a white man who is your logo, who is a huge supporter of America and willing to defend America against an enemy or a detractor. So my question comes with, which a lot of people probably think this but don't realize it. How are you going to defend it against enemies? What would be something that puts someone in the category of detractor when it comes to America? Is the shooting of unarmed black men a defense of America because you feel black men with the right tools will always succeed and be excellent, which is AKA a threat to white America? Or are you considering that taking a knee during the anthem with the American flag raised to protest against injustices and social inequalities or the killing of unarmed black men something that is detracting and needs to be protected against? I know some of this seems like a lot, and some people might also be thinking like, damn, my nigga, it's just a logo. But pull it back for a second and think about the way everything is defined, especially with everything that's been going on these past, I'd say, couple years now, maybe more than that. I think this is just something that truly keeps the perception the way it is. And combine that with the fact that the triple B's of the team are all Donald Dump supporters. And that's actually my next point. Goddamn Donald Dump. Remember when Brady, I think it was going on 2 years ago now, maybe, and he had that red Make America Great Again hat in his locker. And when asked about it, he just was like, oh, have a nice day. And he just ran the fuck out the locker room. And, everybody, they made a story about it for like maybe a day. And then they just left it alone. Just like, ha, ha, ha. Good old Tom. Such a great guy. Like, now, I'm personally okay with the no comment or the stick to football if anything does matter. That's fine. He has his right to do that. I'm a football player. I want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about politics. I'm okay with that. This is not a shot against Tom Brady. My issue is that the dumbass media, they pick and choose, and they gave him a pass this easily. But the only reason they gave him a pass is because it was white Tom Brady. Like, let's put the situation differently. Let that would have been, of course, okay, I'm going to say LeBron or any other black superstar, Cam Newton, anybody, and they were in the same scenario and they didn't want to comment on the situation, the world and the media itself would have ate the motherfuckers up. So with the triple B's, that's Bob, Bill, and Brady, if you don't know, with them all being Donald Dump supporters, you already know they're getting a white privilege times a billy. A major player of that white privilege, too, is Rob Gronkowski. I like Gronkowski. He's a beast when he's healthy, but the problem is he's not hardly healthy. But that's besides the point. Rob Gronkowski, or Gronk, if you want to call it, he's America's bro. Like, he's the big, get in the gym, maybe skip leg day, typical bro type guy. Like, if he wasn't playing football. Like, he's the white guy who, he likes to party hard, fuck blonde-headed chicks, drink mad beer, and then after he drinks a can, smash the fucking can on his head afterwards. And also attend WWE wrestling events. If he didn't play football, he'd be on that GTL, Gym Tan Laundry, Mike the Situation, Jersey Shore type shit. Watch out for the grenades, Paulie. There's nothing wrong with him doing any of this, partying. That's what you're supposed to do. You young, you single, you a millionaire. Do what you do. I party and I'm not rich. I mean, I'm not going to say not to party. Just like with Brady earlier. I don't have a problem with him. My problem is that Grump can do all this crazy shit. You know, like I said, he has trouble staying healthy during the football season. And no one bats a fucking eye. It's just, good old Gronk, big galoof. Like, that's bullshit. Like, Cam Newton, a black quarterback, gets criticized for losing a Super Bowl and not wanting to speak to the media afterwards. He just lost the biggest game of his life, didn't have no fucking protection from his line, was getting blasted, couldn't do anything, and lost the biggest game of your life. You would be mad. What did he say? Something like, you know, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser or something like that. I mean, you know, it just is what it is. But, you know, let's just say, and that's just in one situation. Let's say Cam Newton was fucking bitches drinking beer, attending WWE wrestling events, and he can't stay healthy. Man, they would tear Cam's ass up more than they already do. So, white privilege at its finest. It's awarded to who? Dun, 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 dun. The New England Patriots. Now, I know some people probably thinking, you know, I'm just trying to play the Patriots, but I truly am not. Like, I have no beef with the team. I praise them when they do their thing. I picked them in the beginning of the season to win the Super Bowl and picked them at the end. I think Brady's the GOAT. This ain't nothing against the players or the team. This is all just facts based on the perception in America and why people, in my opinion, I think look at them the way they do based on scenarios that happen with them and then based on scenarios that happen with other people, especially people of color. Remember, guys, everything I just gave you is information based on definitions and facts. This is not my personal opinion on the situation at hand. And oh yeah, one more thing. I'm sure some people listening thinking like, well, you ain't even bring the cheating scandals up. I didn't, because I'll be honest with you. And this in a way is kind of going to defend them more. Like, they sus, and it's been some situations, but I don't trust the NFL, as I've stated all year. I watched my one Super Bowl at the half of the game at the house or whatever, but I don't trust them. I still think it's like white people in businesses with their Ponzi schemes and doing stuff like that. You know, like black people, we come from the gutter, so we do illegal stuff like selling dope. We make our money that way. White people, they do stuff such as like, you know, Ponzi schemes and shit like that. You know, Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street type shit. So the NFL is nothing but a business. I guarantee all these fucking teams cheat. The Patriots was just probably the only ones that got caught. And realistically, the cheating shit don't even matter, man. Because the teams they played, like, they either blew them out or they had major comebacks to win it all. And you can't say they cheated there, because that shit takes talent to be able to do all that, and maybe even a little luck. So if we want to bring up the most recent, which was Deflategate with the Colts got smacked 45-7. So it ain't that many fucking balls that was going to change anything when you getting smacked 45-7. So even if they did take the air out the ball, Bill Belichick, it didn't matter. Indianapolis was fucking terrible. And that's why McDaniels probably flipped the script and didn't want to go coach there, because that situation is fucking messy. Perception, my people. That's all this guy here talking to you was about. And real talk, some of y'all perception needs some fucking work. Speaking of perception, everybody knows the perception in Philly right now. The perception in Philly, fuck it, it's not even a perception. Philly is fucking lit. Because as the world knows, Philadelphia won its first Super Bowl in history and the town went fucking nuts. Big shout out to all my Bulls and them Johns in Philly. Cheesesteaks for everybody. The city anticipated the fans going crazy if a win occurred. That the Philly PD, I think before the NFC game, they put out Crisco oil on the fucking streetlight pole so people couldn't climb them. Well, the Crisco oil didn't work. These motherfuckers anticipated and were trying to prepare that if they won the Super Bowl, that they put waterproof hydraulic fluid on the street lights so people couldn't climb up them. Of course the shit didn't work, because those bulls were climbing all on the light poles. Yo, these motherfuckers was so hyped they team won, they were basically rioting as if they lost that joint. There were food fights inside the Wawa. God, I miss Wawa. I saw on Twitter, there was a woman in the street, bucket ass naked. Windows in Macy's was getting smashed in. Bulls was flipping cars over. Shit getting caught on fire. And I know everybody probably seen this, but the awning at the Ritz-Carlton collapsed from too many people standing on top of that joint trying to do stage diving and crowd surfing off of it. I threw a lot of Bulls and Jones out there being funny. It's my little Philly talk for y'all if anybody listening from Philly. But anyway, point is, man, the shit was wild. But what was even more wild to me was how many people actually got arrested that night. Like, I sat there and I thought, I'm like, man, them Eagle fans is tearing shit up. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. Like goddamn. So, I'm watching the news up here. And they covered it for a couple days, like Monday and Tuesday. And I got this from a couple news sources I watched that they said a grand total of 3 people got arrested. Now, me personally, I have no problem with what anyone does as long as no one gets hurt, because, that first championship feeling ever makes you want to be crazy. Like, I went crazy when the Cavs won their first championship ever. I was so mad I wasn't in Cleveland, but I was screaming. I still saved the snap because I was going so wild. But, so I get that, going crazy. But, despite the fact of all of that, when I began thinking about everything, I started getting upset with the situation in Philly. I wasn't mad at the team. I wasn't mad at the fans because the team earned it. And the fans, they've been starving for a Super Bowl, so it's great. I just had more issue and was more upset with the fact that the police technically didn't do their job. Now, if I put these celebration riots in comparison to, let's say, a peaceful protest for a group known as Black Lives Matter, there are always people getting tear gassed, arrested, tased, hell, maybe even fucking shot in mass quantities. But looking at the news, the perception of the police shown is that during these Philly celebration riots, if that's what you want to call it, the police weren't doing anything but letting the fans riot. And I seen some cops on the news even fucking cheering them on. Now, cops are humans and fans of their home teams as well, so that's okay to celebrate. But I think it's simple to state that the hypocrisy that occurs when white privilege happens and police make their own choices and when to fire a gun or when not to. You're trying to tell me when a group known as Black Lives Matter does a peaceful protest for the injustices of young black men and women and want to protest those injustices, you're going to use a full force against that, but not against rioting, drunken football fans? Now, don't get it twisted. Yes, there were blacks in the Philly crowd celebrating too. But let's put a spin on it for perception purposes. Let's say, hypothetically, the whole crowd of fans celebrating on Broad Street and wherever else in Center City, Philly, had been nothing but black people. Would the police have been so okay with the fans rioting and tearing shit down? What the Dream saying, Love King? I doubt it. Small things like this are what stand out to me in this world and goes to show that we have a long way to go before we're truly equal. Happy belated birthday to Trayvon Martin. Rest in peace. Trayvon Martin would have been 23 years old this past Monday, February 5th, 2018. It's a damn shame how something like this could have happened to an innocent child and sparked what seemed like mass media coverage of the killing of unarmed black men and probably even heightened the race war. It also sucked that it happened on our so-called Black History Month. Now, don't get me wrong. I love and appreciate our blackness, and I am grateful that there is a month deemed for us. But at the same time, I kind of feel like the month is never truly ours. Think about it. February is already the shortest month as is, but on top of that, there are other holidays and events that probably get more media coverage or concern by the mass general population. Groundhog Day is on the 2nd. Valentine's Day is on the 14th. President's Day is on the 19th. Hell, even Washington's birthday is on the 22nd. And let's be real, we all know his white wig, wood tooth having ass had slaves. Shaking my damn head, man. We shouldn't be contained to just a single month anyways. Black History Month doesn't mean much in my eyes due to the fact that we are it. Blacks are what everyone want to be. Look at these Kardashian chicks. All they kids are black. Well, except one. But even despite the fact that's a minority in one family, a whole generation in that family is going to be of color. And I can't stand really their antics. And I guess it's not just them. I can't stand really any reality TV. And honestly, I went totally cold turkey on Love and Hip Hop and watching that shit. But anyways, I never knocked they hustle. And I also like the fact that I know that they love some nigga dick. Oh. And also the millions they got, they're going to be passing it on to little nigga kids. Well, let's say black kids. But besides the fact of that, hip hop and R&B. Man, that shit's always been the most popular music for a while. I don't care what nobody says. The reports might not show it because they don't want to. But I guarantee there are more white or other races listening to hip hop and R&B than black people listening to country or rock and roll or metal or any other weird shit. We pretty much run the world. We are the culture. We are what it is. We are who everyone, people go tanning. They want to get darker. Like, that's who they want to be. They want to be us. I honestly, to be real with you, think we aren't the minority anymore. They say 2050. I'll be, man, as many people as I know that them popped out kids from where I'm from and all this shit compared to like the white girls I knew, and it's like quadruple fold. Like it's no competition. And that's just one area, you know what I mean? So I think, they're saying 2050, but I think in reality that might be an old metric.
It's the FMFU podcast, bitch.
I think this scares them. And I think they're scared to the point that they continue to do dumb shit and claim ignorance. There's one thing I continue to see online, and I'm not sure if it's a trend, if these motherfuckers are trying to be funny, or if people are just really that fucking clueless. But there's this trend going on, and I've seen it a couple times. I think it started last year, of white people giving gifts to black people for Black History Month. I'm not sure who gave them this idea, but this shit needs to stop. There's no reason for us to receive gifts for it being Black History Month. I don't see anybody handing any gifts out on St. Patrick's Day. This is not what the month is about. So, dear white people, Black History Month does not entitle you to give gifts to black people because it is something you want to do. It is also very ignorant for you to give gifts that resemble anything related to race. A brown doll, African garb, grape Kool-Aid, fried chicken, watermelon, or anything of this matter will have us quick to want to throw them hands on you. You might claim I'm not racist because I have black friends. Well, some people have roaches in their home, and that doesn't mean that they like them. Also, if you truly had black friends, you would be very concerned with the issues in America. It would never be ignorant to the fact of the issues of your ways because you would want to understand how the culture is and know exactly what is right and what is wrong. Don't let the claim of I have black friends or I had no clue think that you won't get your ass whooped for being so juvenile or doing something so childish and just flat out ignorant. Rule of advice: if you have to think twice about it, it might not be a good idea. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably a real fucking shitty idea. Assholes. Thank you for listening to the FMFU podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to receive all the latest podcasts when they release. Also, be sure to follow FMFU on Twitter and Instagram at FMFU_podcast. Remember, people, if no one is going to be honest with you, your boy Reese will. And that's always. Until next time, fuckers.